Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Bastion Keter Sanctuary deck profile for post-Festival Booster 2023. Wanted to update the Bastion deck. It was a little overlooked with the previous booster set, but we should be getting some newer Bastion support in some of the upcoming sets. I believe set 12 we may be getting a new Bastion, and I wanted to update it with some of the newer cards we got from the Festival booster, including the new Grade 3 for the Overtrigger power, and some of the new Regalia orders that we got as well, working very well for the Grade 4 search power. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. And big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Bastion deck for the deck profile. For the ride deck, our starter is still Knight of Heavenly Bow base. I'm definitely curious if the new Bastion will have the same ride line like Bruce has still kept. With the standard, when you went second, draw a card. Our Grade 1 is Knight of Heavenly Sword Fort. When this unit is rode upon by a Knight of Heavenly Spear Rooks, reveal 2 Grade 3 cards from your hand. And if you revealed your cards, you choose the top card of your deck and put it onto your rearguard circle. Or if it isn't one, then you just place it in the drop. So you have the risk with the new Regalia unit that we are running in the deck now to potentially reveal this card, but it still has a better benefit, I would say, than to not run it to begin with. So still worth the risk there. Our Grade 2 is Knight of Heavenly Spear Rooks. When this unit is rode upon by Apex Ruler Bastion, reveal 3 Grade 3s from your hand and draw a card. So you have the initial Grade 3s in your hand. It's very easy to resolve this card as well for the draw power. With our Grade 3 being Apex Ruler Bastion, the standard Grade 3 with the restand power and pressure it can provide for your other cards on the field when you drive check a Grade 3 unit. On top of the ones that we are running in the ride deck, we're not running any additional copies because our main go-to unit afterwards is our Grade 4 Bastion, which we are running 4 copies of as well. With the triple drive and on Vanguard Circle, during your turn, all your front row get plus 2,000 power. And on the Vanguard Circle, once per turn, at the end of the battle, your drive check revealed a Grade 3 or greater card. Put a card with Bastion in its card name from your hand or soul into the drop, and stand all of your Grade 3 rear guards, and they get plus 10 until end of turn. So if you have the additional Grade 4 in your hand, or just the Grade 3 Bastion that you have in your soul as well, you have the restand power and the plus 10 power to pressure all of your rear guards for the 5 attacks that this deck can perform. We run a lot of Grade 3s for the added pressure as well. So 4 copies of Grand Heavenly Sword Alden. When placed on rear, counter +2, soul +1, choose a card from your hand and call it to rear guard. If you call it a Grade 3, draw 2 cards, so it's draw power. And when this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more Grade 3 units, it gets plus 5 until end of turn. So if it restands off of any of your Bastion's skills, it'll gain the plus 5 again when it attacks, since it's not just a once per turn. So you'll have that 10k stack on top of the power that your Bastion will also provide to your Grade 3 units on the field. And also the 4 copies of the Heavenly Arrow of Sure Hit Spare Rare. On the front row rear guard, when this unit is stood by your Vanguard's ability, you can Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. And on the back row rear guard during your turn, all your other rear guards in the same column as this one get plus 5. So it provides more of a power boost on top of the added pressure that you can give to your units on the rear guard as well. But just being able to also gain draw power in the front row means you have different options thanks to this card, depending on where you have to call them on the field. And we're also running 4 copies of the new Grade 3 from the Festival booster, which is Divine Knight of Deeply Laid Stratagems, Sajos. On the rear guard or the guard circle, if your opponent's drive check or damage check revealed a trigger unit this turn, this unit gets plus 10,000 power and shield plus 10. So then you have the additional power and defense that this card can provide from the guard circle if you have this card in your hand to begin with, giving you more of a defensive playstyle, because before we only had the sentinels and the triggers to rely on in the Bastion deck. And also it gains the auto rearguard once per turn when this unit attacks. Look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top of the deck or into the soul, and counter +1 and perform all the following. You choose one of your opponent's 14k or greater vanguards and increase this unit's power by that power until end of battle. Or you can remove a overtrigger from the drop and choose one of your other front row units and it gets plus 15,000 until end of turn. So an added shield power to some of your other cards on the field on top of the additional power increase of this unit to also be protected on the field. It's just a very, very good, versatile Grade 3 that you can make full use of, whether it be on the rearguard circle or in your hand, and also be able to set up more cards in your soul to begin with. And also continuing along with the grade 3s, 4 copies of Brave on Sky Trimmer, Rondalia on rearguard. If you have a Vanguard with Bastion in its card name, put this unit into the soul, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets Vanguard Circle. All of your grade 3 rearguards get boost until end of turn. So this gives your spare rare the boost option as well, since it just has the 5k on the back row rearguard, but being able now to boost as well with Rondalia, giving it the boost ability, and also setting up Soul in your Vanguard Soul to be able to Soul Blast 2 to draw off of that card skill as well if it is in the front row. And from the Soul, you can put this unit to the drop to choose one of your grade 3 rearguards, and it gets boost until end of turn. So you have the initial boost ability, and then the following turn, if you have to give another grade 3 boost, it can do that as well. We're also running the 3 additional copies of the Apex Ruler Bastion. This card is just an additional number for the discard cost because you have the 4 grade 4s to begin with, the 1 in the ride deck. So having 3 additional copies of this card, you do have the potential for the Persona ride if you don't open up the grade 4, but you also have the play to be able to just discard this card additionally, giving you 3 more additional copies of this card to target for the discard for the grade 4. And lastly, for the grade 3s in the deck, 2 copies of Heavenly Shock of Distinction Legrel. You have the additional drive check pressure that this card can provide for the discard cost on the rear guard as well. So it all comes down to if you want to go for the added pressure that your Legrel rear guard can provide. You only need the 2 though. Once you open this card up, you're going to focus on that strategy to begin with for this card, with the only grade 1s that we run in the deck being the 4 copies of Aegis Mare Dragon, the Sentinel of choice, just for the added guard and discard for the unit for your choice to use. We don't run the Elementaria Sanctitude. We're already taking the risk with the Forbidal Surrogate as our go-to order to run for the cards to reveal off the top of the deck with our ride deck. So just having 4 Sentinel gives us a better odds in those numbers, with the only other order that we run in the deck being the 1 copy of the new Forbidal Surrogate. It's a Regalia's piece, so you only have 1 Regalia piece in your deck and use a total of 1 time in a fight. Search your deck for a drop for a total of up to 2 grade 3 or 4 units with different card names. Reveal them. Call all revealed grade 3s to rearguard and put all revealed grade 4s into your hand. So you just have the search with this card for a good majority of the deck, being able to add your grade 3 and then the grade 4, calling out the grade 3, and then being able to add the grade 4 to your hand is just another additional searcher for your Apex Surpassing Sword Bastion Prime, thanks to this one order. And then for our trigger lineup, the additional criticals, so we are running the 8 total with the 4 copies of Blade Feather Dragon and 4 copies of Knight of Hammer Gargant. For that added pressure and soul buildup, you can also use with Blade Feather Dragon the 4 copies of the heal of choice, being Healer of Heavenly Staff. You can have the ability triggers if you want in the deck. It's just player preference if you wanted to add a few copies of them. And then 3 copies of the front trigger as well, Bard of Heavenly Song Alpac for the additional 5k shield, and the 1 copy of the over trigger of Martinoa for the potential drive checks for your grade 3 rearguards to also have the additional twin drives on top of their own pressured attack. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his updated deck for the Festival Booster 2023. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.